Yo, what's going on, man? Today is the 20th of this beautiful day in September. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show. Top of the morning to everybody that's tapping in. Man, we'll recap the W like we always do. Final day yesterday. We did finish the season up just a couple units. And the way the WNBA season is, I kind of got mixed feelings about it. So we'll go through that. We'll go through a couple of the comments. And then I know I did title the show WNBA Playoff Preview. I think I'll do standalone videos. The more I thought about it, the more I thought about I'll probably do some standalone videos. Some of the lines kind of came out last night, but you guys maybe we'll find time to talk about WNBA. There's 3 players that I want to talk about in the NFL though, specifically in a couple of the early games and in one of the late games as well. So we'll jump into some NFL plays. Appreciate everybody for tapping in as always. Do me a favor as you guys join, hit the like button for me. Greatly appreciate it. Helps the algorithm. And let's jump into it. So quick recap of yesterday. Washington on the money line. Boy, did it look like they wanted to throw that game last night. Boy. I'm not sure if the Washington staff could, kind of knew what was going on and knew that the Atlanta Dream were going to win the game. So they, maybe didn't want to risk injury. But we talked about it yesterday. If Atlanta beat the Liberty, they would, have the 8th seed. So Washington wasn't really playing for anything. You also see Kelsey Mitchell. She rolled her ankle, didn't come back into the game. But the Washington Mystics were up. I think it was close to double digits in the fourth quarter. Ended up winning the game by 1. So I'm glad we grabbed the money line there. In Chicago, boy, after looking competent for about the first, we'll say 18 minutes of the game, they get smoked. The last 2 minutes, they allow the Sky to go on the Sun to go on like a 7-0 run to end the first half, and then they never really show up in the second half. They scored 6 points in the third quarter and 13 in the fourth quarter, so just 19 points, I think it was, in the second half. They lose the game by like 30. And Stephanie White didn't pull any of her starters either. They all played the full game, which was a tad bit weird to me, but it is what it is. We also got the bad injury news with Kennedy Carter not playing. Cardoso was listed as doubtful. She didn't play, but it is what it is, man. The record on the right-hand side that you guys can see at the top is the WNBA record for the regular season. We finished up to almost 2.5 units through some real ups and downs throughout the WNBA season. I think I was up to 10 units at one point in time. We went down to almost being negative, and then just kind of battling back and forth between some winning days and some really rough days as well. So we'll take it and move into the playoffs where we have some meaningful basketball and definitely build on what we've done so far. See what you guys are thinking here in the comments. What's up, Marquise? He says, Rise and Grind family. 3-1 night last night. I talked about the Dream on the money line. Probably should have got there. That was on the short list. Mystics on the money line. Aces +4. Sky was dry at +14, and that's a fact. Sky messed up. Raul, 5-leg parlay. He says, morning, peeps. What's up to my guy, Mark? Appreciate you for tapping in as always, Mark. He says, good morning, Chris and crew. Let's have a positive weekend. We need it. Just hit the like button on the way in as well. Alex and Sky got smoked in the third, and they actually started getting smoked in the second. I think they just kind of gave up, threw in the towel, man. So, you know what? We can't score with this team. What are we doing here? He says, I went ahead and caught them +10 Dream for Sunday game. I think I saw 12.5. I think I saw for the Dream, which is, I know the Liberty are capable, but boy. What up, PZ? He says, top of the morning game. Jacoby Brissett under his 163.5 passing yards. Yeah, I didn't recap NFL because I didn't send anything out to the members. But the best bet I talked about on the show yesterday was Breece Hall up and over his 31.5, I think, receiving yards. He finishes with 29, of course. Jacoby Brissett, longest pass completion, under 29.5, was a winner. And I like Jalen Pope as well. It was not his day yesterday. He ended up with, I think, 2 catches for like 13 yards. He was listed at 18.5. So I did talk about how free I thought, the Patriots were, the Jets were, especially being on a short week, coming off an overtime game, offensive line, kind of stumbling into, to MetLife Stadium last night, and they absolutely got smoked last night. What up, Justin? He says he hit the like. Appreciate you for tapping in as always. Justin LG3 says, let's bounce back. PZ says, WNBA wasn't so nice. Can't believe I fell for the Diana Taurasi hype and took the Mercury. Yeah, I almost bought into that too, man. They was talking about if it is Diana Taurasi's last game, which I feel like it is. I feel like she probably told the organization something, but they probably just couldn't tell the people. So, yeah, Diana Taurasi career, she may not never see that, put a jersey on because they probably going to lose twice to the Lynx in the first round and never make it to a home game. So, yeah, we'll see. Justin says he got the dream. Good morning, Antonio. What up, Prestigious Prodigy? Good morning, Luis. What up, Mitchell? Pass offense looked horrible last night. Yeah, we kind of expected that. Pass offenses look horrible the whole season. It looked a little bit more competent in week 2 against Seattle, though. All right, so let's jump into the games, man. One game I wanted to talk about that really stood out to me and kind of interested me was this Houston-Texans game. So you got the Texans on the road. They'll be in Minnesota taking on the red-hot Minnesota Vikings. So you got the Houston Texans coming into this game 2-0 straight up, but they failed to cover both of their spreads. Remember week 1, we go back, they beat the Colts, but they did not cover. Remember they were laying, I think it was 2.5, might have closed at 3. They ended up winning the game by 1 point or winning the game by 2 points, but whatever it was, they didn't cover. Then last week, the line opened at 6. It gets moved all the way to 6.5. They also don't cover. They win the game by 6, and offense really just kind of got stagnant in the second half, especially without Joe Mixon being a part there. For the Vikings, 2-0 straight up, 2-0 against the number. This team has been playing much better than expected, right? Week 1, they were, I think a short favorite against the New York Giants. They smoked the Giants. And then week 2, last week, we see the Vikings play really, really well at home as a dog against the 49ers who came into town. I think they were getting 4.5 points when it opened. It got bet all the way down. Might have been getting 5. Got bet all the way down, and they ended up winning the game outright as a home dog. So what do we think is going to happen in this game here? So Texans, this line has come down to it. Opened, I think, 3.5 in favor of the Houston Texans, or 3. And it's come down to 2.5. It's some 1.5 on the boards as well. And the total, of course, is sitting at 46. I think 46 is the consensus right now. So as far as the game goes, when I was looking into it, CJ Stroud last year as a road favorite, he was only 1-2 straight up and against the number as a road favorite. He lost to the Panthers of all teams, and then he also lost to the Jets without Aaron Rodgers. Those are 2 pretty bad losses. Now, we know they went out, upgraded a lot of the positions. You still got Nico Collins at wide receiver. You bring in Joe Mixon. Like, this offensive line is good. Defense is upgraded as well. But they do have some key injuries here, and we'll get into that in just a second. As far as a trend, I looked at undefeated home dogs in week 3. Undefeated home dogs of 3 or less in week 3, 11-11 straight up, 12-19-1 against the spread in the Killer Sports database. It says that the Vikings could, got a 50% chance of winning this game, and we do see a short spread here. Through 2 weeks, I look at Minnesota's defense. They're allowing teams to convert on just 28.6% of their red zone possessions, which is the 5th best rate. This defense has been really, really good. They've also been a top 10 rush defense, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. When I look at the Houston Texans injury report, it's not favorable here. You could say they have a slight rest disadvantage just because, they did play on Sunday night, and they of course had to travel. So looking at the injury report, Joe Mixon, we know he went down with that hip drop tackle on Sunday Night Football. He's not practiced this week. I don't think that he's going to be available. Dameon Pierce, backup running back, has also not practiced. I don't think that he's going to be available in this contest. So that leads me to this. I think you have to put the ball in CJ Stroud's hand, and you got to put it in his hands a lot. I think DeMeco Ryans believes in CJ Stroud, and I think that he'll have the ball in his hands a lot in this game. I think he'll be passing the ball a lot in this game. And just yesterday, Nico Collins did go. He was limited, but he did go through practice yesterday. You love to hear that if you like the prop that I'm about to give out. And I still think Houston got some weapons on the offensive end. The play that I like in this game the most, because I kind of want to get there, and I feel like Houston should be able to get the job done. I saw that offense really, really struggle, to move the ball against the Bears defense. And I'm thinking this Minnesota defense is going to be pretty similar, especially without Joe Mixon in the second half. So I like CJ Stroud up and over his 34.5 pass attempts here. Houston, like I said, will most likely be without Mixon, Dameon Pierce, so first string and second string running back. I think Cam Akers is their third string running back. He does not put a lot of fear in my heart against this Minnesota defense. When I went specifically, I talked about Minnesota being a top 10 rush defense. They're allowing the 8th fewest rush attempts so far in the season. They're allowing the seventh fewest rushing yards per rush and the 8th fewest rushing yards per game. So this has been a very good Minnesota rush defense. Success, I think, like I said, gonna have to come through the air. You love to see Nico Collins playing last week, participating in practice yesterday. I think that's a good sign for the passing game. And through 2 weeks so far, opposing teams, you look at Minnesota, they've allowed, if you look at Minnesota, they've forced teams to pass the ball at the second highest rate. Opponents are averaging 39 pass attempts per game against this Minnesota defense. And you look at CJ Stroud and what this offense has done so far this season. They also passing the ball 34 times per game, which is top 11 in the NFL so far. So, like I said, I think, DeMeco Ryans gives the keys to CJ Stroud. I think we see a bunch of passes in this game for the Houston Texans, and I think that's the way that they're going to have to find success. CJ Stroud pass attempts is 34.5. Minus 103 over on Caesars is the best line that I could find. I think it's a big, big passing day for CJ Stroud here. That's what I like the most. Let's see if anybody had thoughts on this one before we move on to another game that I want to touch on just a tad bit. Lee Anthony says, let's go Texans, Super Bowl champs. I don't know how good they look today. What up, Helms? Appreciate you for tapping in. He says, tell boss I have to go take a 30. What up to my guy Ski? He says, did you also see the million flags thrown against Houston in that game? Refs did all they could to help the Bears cover. I thought that I do think they covered, Ski. If the flags were bad, that is correct. But I also think they cover if Mixon plays, because Mixon had a tremendous impact. I think he was like the best running back in week 1, and he was doing his thing in week 2 as well. Before he went down with the injury. Ski says third quarter took like an hour and a half. Ski Cheese Monster got you capped it. Yeah, we need Ski shows, man. I think Ski will be back today, though. I think I saw something that says Ski will be back today. Shout out to my guy Ski in the chat. Prestigious Price says Texans win and cover as a short road favorite here. Mitchell says thoughts on the over-under. Texans team total over 23.5. I think it'll be like I said, I think with the Houston Texans offense being a little bit more, confined to just, being one-dimensional, I think that's going to show us. I think that's going to show up in the offense, and I think the Texans will play, try to play keep away. I think Minnesota will try to play keep away. Let's see real quick. If we look at Minnesota's offense, I know they've been really good in the red zone. I was reading up on them yesterday. Their red zone conversion percentage is 60% right now. Minnesota is, which is the 7th highest rate, but their time of possession is only 44%, which is 28th. So I'm not sure, but I'm leaning more towards the under. I feel like this is an under type game, just because Minnesota's defense has been good. I think Houston's defense can limit Minnesota as well. Let's see. Houston also has their center, Jared Patterson. He's listed as limited practice yesterday. He did not practice on Wednesday. Dalton Schultz did have a full participate. The tight end, he did participate yesterday. The offensive line I think should hold up, but like I said, no running backs is going to make it difficult, which is why I just like CJ Stroud to go up and over his 34.5 pass attempts here. I think that's the best number. That's the one that kind of stood out to me the most. CJ Stroud over 34.5 pass attempts. Let's see. PZ says Tank Dell over his 3.5 receptions. Why you like Tank Dell, PZ? Is it because Nico Collins was limited in practice yesterday? Let me know. I just kind of feel like CJ Stroud got so many options to throw the ball to. It's really difficult for me to kind of want to isolate one, but you might got a better read on it than I do. Ski says, yep, back today. Bissy says, morning chat. What up, Bissy? Ball Talk says, good call, Chris. I like the under here too. Vikings defense looking good. Top 3 linebacking court. Is Jefferson playing? Yeah, Justin Jefferson I did see a tweet yesterday that said Justin Jefferson said he's gonna be good to go in this game. I want to say I saw that, and I think that he did participate in practice. Let's see. I did look at it this morning. Let's just look at something real quick. Before we get into the next game real quick. All right, so Vikings, injury report. Justin Jefferson was limited in practice yesterday. He's probably going to play. I'm thinking he's going to play. He was limited on Wednesday too. No Jordan Addison though. He continues to be out. And then Aaron Jones also got a full practice in yesterday as well. They'll definitely need him to be able to, establish the run, and that's been helpful so far. Offensive tackle Brian O'Neill also was a full participant in practice last week. Yeah, this is one where I kind of want to stay off the side, but I do like the under, and I will be looking towards, like I said, CJ Stroud. I think he goes up and over his pass attempts here. Tank fell over 3.5 rushing yards. Okay. And we'll go to the next game. I think we did a pretty good job here. Next one up, we got the Packers and the Titans. So Titans were, I don't think I updated the line. Money did come in on Green Bay in this spot, and it is 3 on some books, but it was 1.5 earlier this week. And I agree with the money coming in here. There's a 2.5 that's available over on DraftKings. It's only 15 cents a juice, so extra 5 cents, beyond the normal CLV. And this really boils down to me just, wanting to find a way to fade Malik Willis. I know he's back home. I wouldn't say back home, but this is a revenge spot for him. But he's also on the road, and that's somewhere where I'm not trusting, Malik Willis, especially after winning as a dog last week. I think we see Green Bay take a step back in this spot. I'm not really too firm of a believer in Malik and the other quarterback, which is Will Levis either. But I do think, after getting cursed out last week, we see Will Levis take care of the football a little bit more in this spot. I think Tennessee's the right side in this game, man. I like them defensively a lot. You go through and I looked at, a lot of the advanced metrics. And they do tell me that, Tennessee should be able to stifle this Green Bay offense. I think Green Bay is going to try to run the football as they did, for a majority of the game last week when they were able to get a win. And I don't think they're going to be as successful in this game here. You look at the Tennessee defense, they're second in, opponent passing, first downs, not giving up a lot there. And their rush defense has been really good as well. They're top 10 in all of the statistical categories. As far as rushing attempts per game, they're only giving up 23, which is 8th. As far as rushing yards per attempt, they're giving up 4 per attempt, which is 9th. And only giving up 92.5 yards per game as well, which is also 10th. So if Green Bay's not going to be able to pass the ball, not going to be able to run the ball, and you're relying on Malik Willis to win you the game, I'm not a huge component in Malik Willis. So I think on the road, Green Bay takes a step back this week, and I do like Tennessee minus 2.5 in this game. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. And this is probably one of my favorite spreads this week. And then we'll go to the last player prop that I do like. Well, not even a player prop, more total. But I will be doing, for people who are interested, me and my guy Munaf we do a show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network called the Propcast. And we both give out 3 player props and a best bet every single week. And we go through a lot of different things. So that show will be today at 12:30, just to plug that real quick. 12:30 on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network if you guys are interested. And I'll give out a couple more plays there as far as props that I'm liking for this week. Last week, we had a lot of success. I think we both went 3-0 or 2-1, I think. 2-1 or 3-0. So if people want to tap in and, hear more props, you guys can do that over there. So yeah, this is, like I said, me not believing in Malik Willis, kind of agreeing with the number. You can get a 2.5 on DraftKings at -115. Stephon Diggs revenge game, Desmond says. Okay. Helm says he thinks the Packers win on the money line, and he already bet it. Okay, so opposite sides here. Justin says close to moving in on the Titans. Let's see. Marquis says true cheesehead here. Took us on the money line with Levis interception. People wanting to fade Malik Will Levis, and I can understand that. I think I want to more so fade Malik Willis though, but we'll see. Marquise Anderson, you from Wisconsin? You from Wisconsin, Holmes? Alex says he likes the Titans here as well. Yeah, I like the Titans, man. I'm gonna roll with the Titans in this one. All right, so next game up, we got the Panthers and the Raiders, and this line I think has come down to 5. I think everybody saw the news earlier about Bryce Young earlier this week about Bryce Young getting benched. And how Dave Canales wants to win a game. I think he wants to look like a competent offensive coordinator / head coach, and that's why you make the substitution and you get rid of Bryce Young. He's not tall enough, not confident enough. Like, it's a lot going on, and I'm not going to continue to bash the man, but you bring in a vet, Andy Dalton to kind of take over the offense now. Excuse me. And you got a Raiders team that's riding high. They went into Baltimore, stole one after, looking pretty conservative in week 1 when they lost to the Chargers, right? So they come from behind in that game. They got a nice little travel back cross country to get all the way back. And Carolina, I mean, it's not much to like about Carolina at all, except you kind of feel like the team does rally around, the changes, right? I don't think they can, not that they're going to make the playoffs, or I think they at least want to take a step in the right direction. But if you go through and just look at it, Carolina has scored 10 points. They scored 13 points in the 2 games. They scored 10 in week 1 against the Saints, and they scored 3 last week when they got absolutely manhandled, by the Chargers who came into town. So, it's kind of breath of fresh air when you have Andy Dalton, a competent quarterback there. I also just looked at Gardner Minshew, and he played well in the last week. But he only has a 45% win percentage for his career. And the other thing I looked at was when Gardner Minshew was a favorite, 9-5 to the over in those games. This total started to creep up. When I did the graphic, which was on Monday or Tuesday, it was at 41, and then it kind of, got hit, steamed to the under, and now it's slowly but surely starting to creep back up. I think it went down to 38. It's back up to 39.5 on some books, 40 on other books. I just think Carolina should be able to move the ball and score. It's a rated defense that I'm not quite ready to trust, and I think I want to buy low on Carolina's offense. I'm not a believer in Carolina's defense quite yet. We'll see how that goes, but I like the over here. 39.5 is the number, and like I said, I think it's a buy low spot. I think Carolina can contribute, and I'm not willing to bank on Carolina's defense being good at all. Not quite yet, in my opinion. This is still one of the worst defensive units in my opinion. I look at the Raiders defense. They've been getting gashed on the ground, giving up 163 yards per game, 350 yards of offense. And they have been good on third downs, though. Red zone conversion rate, not the greatest, 57% for their opponents, which is bottom 10 in the NFL. Like I said, I just think Dalton, not that he has the most explosive offense, but their team total is 16.5. I do feel like Carolina should be able to score 17 points in this game. And I think the Raiders will be able to score as well. The Raiders team total, I think, is 22.5. So I'll go up and over here. Up and over 39.5. Best number was available on FanDuel -115 when I looked at it. I think I checked these numbers right before I did the show. Any thoughts on this one? Helm says Raiders, my squad, I think he says. Marquis says I'll be down there Sunday. Justin says going to move on Adam Thielen. He likes Adam Thielen props here, which I mean, somebody's going to have a good game. It's either going to be him or Deontay Johnson, right? Yeah, I definitely don't trust the Raiders here, Holmes. I'm not laying points with the Raiders. I will say this, though. When I was looking a little bit deeper into it, Gardner Minshew is 12-3 straight up, 11-4 against the number as a favorite in his career, winning by an average of 11 points per game. But like I said, I like the over trend a little bit more, 9-5-1 to the over, hitting about 64%. So Gardner Minshew as a favorite, you know, a lot of these wins came, you know, back in 2019, 2021, 2023. 2023 specifically, I mean, he played really, really well in this spot. So, yeah, I guess that's the reason I like the Raiders. I just think it's a fat and happy spot for the Raiders after winning as an 8.5 point dog in their last game. And I'm not in the laying points, especially not multiple possessions with the Raiders, even though they are playing against probably one of the worst two teams in the NFL. Mark says, held my nose and bet Carolina. Yeah, I couldn't talk you off, man. I'm not laying with the Raiders. Desmond says Zamir White should snap against Carolina. Coach said he want to give him 20 touches this week in press conference after the game. I could see that when we look at it just real quick, just to put some numbers behind this. Both of these teams are real terrible against the rush. I just told you guys, that Las Vegas is giving up 6.1 yards per rush, which is the second most in the NFL. 163.5 yards per game, which is the third most in the NFL. And overall, like I said, they just been giving up bleeding yards, giving up 350 per game. That's the Raiders defense. If you look at Carolina's defense, and a lot of this, I think Carolina's defense is because they had to be on the field so much. Their offense has been so incompetent that they don't get a chance to really do it, like to be on the sideline and rest. But yeah, Carolina defense giving up damn near 200 yards, 199.5 rushing yards per contest, which is the second most, 4.9 yards per rush, which is the 22nd most. And they also allow teams to run the ball down their throat 40.5 times per game, which is the second most. So teams are absolutely taking advantage of Carolina defensively in this spot. So I'm with you though, Mark. I think it's a buy low spot as well, but I couldn't talk you off Zamir White. I didn't even look into his props, Desmond, but yeah, he should be in a good spot to get a lot of carries, and as long as he can take advantage of that, it should be great. Helm says, did you see that Embiid contract? My God, I did not see it. Embiid just got paid? I did not see that. Oh, I do see it now. Just looked at my phone. 3 years, $193 million maximum extension for the 76ers through 2029, giving him one of the richest total salaries, $301 million in NBA history. Jesus Christ. For him to play how many games this year? He better be healthy. Jesus. Okay. All right. I digress. Appreciate you for sharing that, though, Hans. And that's the show for today, man. Like I said, top 3 plays on the board for myself. You guys heard the breakdowns for all 3, but CJ Stroud, I do think, no running back 1, no running back 2. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot for them to be successful in Minnesota this week. I like him up and over his 34.5 pass attempts. Tennessee minus 2.5 because I want to fade Malik Willis coming back home in a quote-unquote revenge spot. Just not buying what Green Bay is going to be able to do. I don't think that they're going to find a lot of success rushing the football this week. And then Carolina and Las Vegas, I do think Carolina will contribute to the total. I think Las Vegas should be able to score the football as well. I like the up and over 39.5 here. Very rare over for me. I don't really like too many overs, but that's what I'm thinking as far as the plays for at least the looks that I have so far that I'm liking. Prestigious Party says he likes the Ravens on the money line against the Cowboys this week. That's a tricky game for me. I've been thinking about that game a lot, just haven't gotten to the window with anything. Resources, as always, are here. Referral code CBC will get you 20% off Odds Jam subscription, so you guys can find the best line as snap of a finger, honestly. But they also have a lot of other great tools and resources that you guys can utilize over on the Odds Jam screen, from arbitrage betting to they got betting calculators and everything else that you need to be a successful handicapper. Moneyballer.com, ChrisBeCappinn, 2 P's, 2 N's will get you 50% off your first month over there. If you guys are interested, like I said, just a one-stop shop for everything is pretty much laid out on Moneyballer. that you could potentially be looking for. They even got the trends like just there if you have baller access. Give Me the Dog, Killer Sports, and Cleaning the Glass are also resources that I'm using. And I mentioned this at the beginning of the show, but WNBA previews, I'll go standalone videos for those, just kind of deep diving into every single one of them. I think I don't really know if we got any great matchups in the first round. I guess the most interesting one is supposed to be the Connecticut Sun versus the Indiana Fever. I don't know how competitive that's going to be, though. And you guys will hear me talk about that a little bit more on the channel soon. So, yeah, end of the show now. If you guys enjoyed it, found it helpful, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Like and share. Always helpful. Let me know what you guys are betting too. I know we talked about the NFL today. What's your favorite NFL bet? Leave it in the comment. This show, Mark, I'm glad you mentioned it. He says, what's the name of the show? It's called The Propcast on Sports Gambling Podcast Network. So you can definitely check that out. Me and Munaf will be on there. Like I said, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time today. We'll do a podcast. We do it every Friday. We also do one on Wednesday for the Thursday night game. So link for all my official plays is in the description as it always is, man. Bet responsibly, as I always tell you guys. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Enjoy your Friday.